Yeah, I suppose firstly, Tim, following that win over India on Sunday night, can you give us an idea of how the team are looking to refocus ahead of tomorrow's game against Scotland?
Yeah, it was a great team effort the other night against a very strong Indian side. So the guys, very pleased with how that went. But now our focus obviously shifts to Scotland and 3 games in 5 days, which 3-day games as well, which is a challenge in itself. So it's as good a win as it was the other night. We know we've got to park it, we've got to move on, and we've got to look forward to a day game tomorrow against Scotland.
Yeah, we obviously don't get to play Scotland too much. Can you give us your memories of playing them? And I think you might have played them a couple of times, once at the World Cup and once 1 or 2 are there.
Played Scotland a couple of times over the years. It is a side we don't get to play a lot. It's always exciting times when you do get to play against a side that you haven't played a lot against. They've obviously been an improving side and a strong side, as we've seen throughout the early stages of this tournament. So it's exciting for both sides to come up against and play a game that we don't really get to play that often. So it's something the guys are looking forward to.
Just lastly from me before I pass it over to the media, confirmation you're going to be playing in the teal for this game. I wasn't too sure exactly, depending on the qualifiers, whether you get to use the alternate strip, but I understand it's a strip the boys like playing in.
I know that, the guys, when we unveiled our alternative strip, the guys were excited about it. I know a lot of the guys grew up watching the Black Caps as kids in the teal and black, so I know there's an excitement around the group when we were able to wear it in the warm-up games. A bit of a throwback for New Zealand cricket, and I know the guys are looking forward to getting out there in the teal.
Cool, thanks very much, mate. I'll pass it over to Alex Chapman first from back home in New Zealand, then anyone else I'll refer to you in the chat. Thanks very much.
Hey Tim, Alex here. May as well stick with the teal theme. What's your fondest and I suppose strongest memory of the Black Caps playing in teal?
I think just growing up in that sort of early 2000s, watching the Black Caps in the teal. I actually played my first game for the Black Caps in the teal, was sort of a bit of a throwback for the T20 series in 2008 against England. So I guess it holds fond memories for myself, not only growing up watching it, but getting to play in it on debut as well. So I know the guys are excited about it. We brought it back for the Australian series as COVID hit, so we only got one game with it there, and I know there's a lot of excitement around the group, and guys are looking forward to wearing it tomorrow.
As Willie mentioned, there's not a massive amount of history between the two sides in terms of Scotland. How quickly did you guys go into prep mode for Scotland, and kind of what Steady told you in terms of what you may have needed to learn about the Scottish side?
So we had obviously played the other night. We had yesterday off, which was quite nice for guys just to try and get away from it for a period of time. We've got a busy week coming up, so it was nice to have a day off yesterday. It's not only an opposition we don't know too much about, and don't get to play that often, but also a day game. First 2 games have been night games, so obviously there's that to adapt to as well. But we'll have our scouting meetings, we'll have our tactics and whatnot meetings over today, and try and come up with some plans. I think the beauty of these days, there's enough footage out there. Scotland obviously been playing a bit of cricket in the lead up into this tournament, so there's enough footage out there for us to come up with some plans.
You've mentioned the adjustment to the day games. What does change in terms of the approach?
Obviously a little bit hotter for the guys. We've had a couple of day trainings. It is considerably warmer during the day than at night. Obviously there's no dew factor, which you seem to be faced with in the night games here at the moment. So I guess it's just about what we do. We do it anyway, is trying to adapt to the conditions, adapt to the surface as quick as possible, and it may react differently during the day with it being a day game and quite a dry place. So I think it's just about adapting and assessing and trying to make that change as quick as possible.
Do the cutters in particular in the 3/4 ball come into play a bit more in drier conditions or in day games, do you think?
Well, that's something we're going to have to assess. I think we're back in Dubai where we played the other night. So yeah, it's just about each ground here offers something different in the 3 venues that we're playing at. So it's just about turning up on the day and being as quick as we can to adapt to the conditions, whether that's with bat or ball.
Cool. Thanks, Matt.
Hi, Tim.
Hi.
Yeah. So, Tim, you know, I mean, in your first match against Pakistan in Sharjah, you all had to bowl and, you know, you all had to bowl second, and we had seen that how intense the dew was in that game as well. So going forward, if for instance, if you all have to again bowl second, so what is the approach going to be for your team?
Well, it doesn't really concern us. Our next 3 games are day games, so there shouldn't be much of a change between bowling first and bowling second in terms of the juice. So that's something that we've had two night games, and now our focus shifts to day games where juice shouldn't be an issue.
Tim, has the prospect of being holders of 2 ICC trophies in a span of 3 or 4 months been spoken about within the group just yet?
No, definitely not. I think whenever you turn up to a world event, you want to do well. The goal is for every side is to go as deep into the tournament as possible and try and win it. So the mindset when you go into a world event doesn't change, but for us it's about each game as it comes. It's a tough tournament, a short tournament, so you can't get too far ahead of yourselves. And for us as a side, is a strength of ours is we take each game as it comes. Things didn't go as planned against Pakistan, but we were able to learn from that, move on, shift our focus to India. Things went well against India, but we have to park that and we move on to another opposition in Scotland. And like I touched on earlier, it's a busy week coming up with 3 games in 5 days. So I think it's just about focusing on what's in front of us and playing the cards in front of us rather than worrying too much about what's going to happen down the track.
Also, as a bowling group, do you reckon that this has kind of been very good preparation or the best preparation that you could have in these conditions, considering a lot of you were part of different IPL teams as well?
Yeah, I think having a number of guys a part of the IPL here playing in these conditions, playing not only in these conditions but playing the T20 format can only be a good thing. Like a number of sides have had a number of guys that were a part of the IPL. So yeah, I think it has helped as a bowling group. I think all the majority of the bowlers were part of, the pace bowlers were part of the IPL. So I think we've taken bits from that, playing on these same surfaces, and use that to our knowledge.
Hi, Tim. Just a couple of questions from me. I just want to understand, obviously you come up against Scotland tomorrow. The last challenge was against India. Is it fair to say that each team in this tournament represents a different challenge and will be a competitive fixture?
Yeah, I think it's the nature of the tournament. There's no easy games. Yes, you're playing against India in front of a pretty full house. And then you go and you play in a day game against Scotland. But I think you got to get yourself into a space, and I think as a group we, like I say, we sort of worry about what we're trying to do, what we're trying to achieve, and the style that we're trying to play. So that shouldn't really matter who you're playing against, but the mindset and the energy that we bring should be the same in every single game.
And just finally from me, just an idea of the support that you guys have been receiving from back home and how that's helping you while you're away.
Not great viewing hours for people back home. I know there's a few people that have had a few late nights or early mornings getting up and watching us, and everywhere we go around the world, it's always nice to know there is people back home that are getting them behind us. So yeah, it's always appreciated the support you do get from home, and even more so when you hear of people getting up at all hours to get in behind us. So I know the guys enjoy it. Obviously, there's not a lot of Kiwis here in the UAE, but it's nice to see a few New Zealand shirts around the grounds as well.